Hello everyone, my name is Sandra and I'm an educator here at the Kansas City Zoo. This morning we are here with Arnie in our Discovery Barn, and Arnie is one of our sloths. So he is fairly new to us at the zoo, and this morning he is kind of over in a corner here, and that's because his normal kind of a nook area has been filled with some enrichment that he's not really too happy with today. So we are kind of over in the corner with him, and I have a book that I would like to read, and the book this morning is all about sloths. So our book is Score One for the Sloths, and it's written by Helen Lester, and it is a story about being an individual. Ho-de hum. It was another day at Sleepy Valley Sloth School, and all the sloths were just hanging around. Once in a while, the teacher would remember his job and wake up with a lesson. "All right now," he would drawl, "everybody yawn." Or he might even say, "Keep those snores coming." Or even, "All together, students, let's roll over." Most of the time, though, the class just slept. It was a sloth thing. They were content in their slothfulness. Occasionally, the principal would drop in and say with a chortle, "Don't mean to wake you, but I've never in my life seen such a lazy bunch of louts. Keep up the good work, whatever." And the sloths would smile in their slumberness. The only movement of the day came at lunch hour. Actually, it was lunch 3 hours, when the sloths would amble around the slotheteria, taking a berry at a time, slowly chewing each one ever so carefully. After all that exertion, it was nap time again. Then the students were off to study hall. And then it was time for recess. They're all hanging on their swings. The dismissal bell rang at 3 o'clock sharp each day. But it was dusk before the sloths left school, because no one wanted to get up and open the door. "Do I have to?" moaned one. "I did it last time," yawned another. "My leg hurts," mumbled a third. So everyone was happy to go back to sleep until 6 o'clock, when the custodian swept them out and rolled them home. One day, a new sloth came to school. She had just moved to the area, and her name was Sparky. Sparky was perky. She was full of life and energy and vim and vigor and vitality. She was a mover and a shaker and a go-getter. And by mid-morning, she was driving the other sloths crazy. "Let's read a story. Hey, we could use a little music." She's playing her trumpet. "Want to build a castle? Oh, getting blocks on the head. Anyone for math? How about some poetry?" The lazy sloths shook Sparky off, nudged her with their elbows, and shoved her away with their toes. Poor Sparky sat in a corner, fidgeting on her first day of school, feeling very unwelcome. What a bunch of bores, she sighed to herself. She doesn't seem very happy right there. Then she looked up, and there was a real boar at the door with a clipboard. From its outfit, it was clear that it was a wild boar. The boar announced, "I am an official representative of SOS. That's the Society for Organizing Sameness. Wait till you hear what we know about you. It says here in my report that Sleepy Valley Sloth School is a disgrace to the entire mammal district." The boar was getting wound up now and began pacing wildly, shaking trees, whacking some sloths with the clipboard, and poking others with a pencil until everyone was awake. Want to know your scores? Without waiting for an answer, the wild boar boomed on. Reading? Dreadful. Music? The absolute worst. Block building? Zilcho. Math? Forget it. Poetry? Off, below, and way under the chart. Thus, I am here from SOS to close this school. The sloths gasp. Their school? Their happy, peaceful, slothful school? They had to do something, but they weren't doers. They had never done anything. Only one sloth could help them now. The mover, the shaker, the go-getter. All eyes turned with hope to Sparky. Sparky addressed the wild boar. "You mentioned reading. Reading, of course." She passed out the books, and the sloths, being unaware of what books were, sandwiches, began munching. "Reading," whispered Sparky, "not eating." She laid a book over each sloth. The sloths looked like they were reading. Music. Sparky whipped her violin out of her knapsack and played Flight of the Bumblebee, while the other sloths snored, very realistically. Block building. The sloths were well past their nap time, but they threw themselves into the task. Occasionally, a sloth in need of a quick snooze would get sandwiched, but that made the tower even higher. By now, the sloths were thoroughly exhausted. Sparky pressed on. "Math, what's 2 + 2? The answer came in a groan. 4. Get it. Luckily, the wild boar only heard the 4 and not the get it. So he didn't get it. "And the last subject you mentioned," said Sparky, "was poetry. Off below and way under the chart. If you please, we will recite The Way of the Sloth." Of course, all sloths everywhere had been brought up with this poem. They've known it since they were babies. They could recite it in their sleep. So they did. The Way of the Sloth. The way of the sloth is gentle and kind. It hangs from the trees with nothing in mind. It doesn't make faces or throw fits or holler. It never gets heated under the collar. It's merely no bother. That's easy to see. It just hangs around, contented to be. That, stated the wild boar, was impressive. Most impressive. Some nitwit must have confused your school with another. Sleepy Valley Sloth School is a credit to the entire mammal district. Off stalked the wild boar with the clipboard, and everyone, especially Sparky, settled in for a peaceful, well-deserved and very long nap time. Well, it appears that maybe Arnie has slept through his story time, which is normal for a sloth. So thank you for joining me today and reading our story to our Arnie, our sloth here at the Kansas City Zoo. Remember to keep washing your hands and that social distancing, and hopefully we will see you out here soon for another story time in person. Take care, everyone. Bye.